Hello guys, welcome to this simplifying of the multiplication table. I want to help you with how to easily learn the multiplication table. I'll use this method on my kids. They're 10 and 11 years old and it worked out nicely. Maybe it can work out nicely for you as well. If you like this video, remember to share it and like it. So give it away to your friends and family. Maybe it can help them as well. Alright, let's get to it. As you can see in the video, I have all of the multiplication table here, and I also have these to the top right, the friendly numbers, which are the numbers that together equals 10, right? So 1 and 9 is 10, 2 and 8 is 10, and so let's just call them the friendly numbers. And I'm gonna assume that you know the friendly numbers already, so whenever you see a 4, you will know that the friendly number is 6. And if you see an 8, you will know that the friendly number is 2. So this is an assumption I'm going to make. So let's get to it. Here are all of the multiplication table numbers, and they are together 121 numbers. And that's quite a big task for any kid to learn, to face the 121 numbers that you need to learn. That's a big task, and we need to simplify that task for the kids so that they find it easier to approach the multiplication table. So let's do that. We need to minimize the amount of numbers that the kids need to focus on, and normally you would go about it that you would learn the first multiplication table, then the second, then the third, and you work yourself upwards. And most kids actually find it easy with the first ones. I mean, if you look at all the green multiplication tables here, you can see that those are the easy ones, and most kids would learn those quite quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you already know them. Actually, so the 10th and the fives, and the second here, the 2s and the 1s and the 0s, easy, right? So I'm just gonna grade those out, and let's not focus on these easy ones, not the ones we're going to need to learn all of the multiplication table, as I'm just gonna assume you know them already. So we just removed that's about 55 numbers that we removed, right? So that's simplified already there. Let's go ahead and simplify it even more. As we remove the 0s, 1s and 2s, we need to grade those out as well, because we don't need them. You know these already. They are so simple. And also the 5s and the 10s need to be graded out, because they are also very simple, right? So if you don't know those simple ones, all of the greens, you need to learn them first and then get back to this method. So now that we removed all of those, there is oh right, we need to gray out the tens as well. There we go. Now there are 6 numbers left in every multiplication table, and that's 6 tables, so that's 6 times 6, which is 36, as you can see here. So we simplified a lot, but actually we're going to simplify it even more. 36 numbers left, but if you look at these tables that are left, you can see that these numbers are actually doubles. You can find them twice in the multiplication table. So you can find 3 times 6 here in the third, but you can also find it here in this 6th multiplication table. So pretty much we can darken out all the doubles. So let's do that. And 4 times 6, 3 times 4 is also here in 4 times 3 table, so you can darken that out as well. And all of these you can find 6 times 4, of course, in the 6th table, so, and 4 times 7 in the 7th table, and 8 times 4 in the 8th table, and 9 times 4 in the 9th table. So we don't need those as well. And you can continue with doing that in all of the tables, because when you get to the 6th here, you can see that 6 times 7 and 6 times 8, 6 times 9, they are all here in the next tables as well. And so we will continue here. 7 times 8, you can find that as well over here, so we don't need that. 7 times 9, again the same thing. 8 times 9 is already 9 times 8 here, so we don't need that. Now that we remove all the doublets, all the doubles, so we don't simplify it even further, now there's only 21 numbers left, equations to actually learn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yes, 21 numbers, a much easier number to work with than 121. So we actually removed 100 equations from the multiplication table because they were so easy and simple, so that you probably already knew them, or they were same equation was found twice in the multiplication table. So now that we have minimized and simplified as much as possible, there's only 21 numbers left. Let's get started with the methods of how to calculate these in your head, so that you don't need a pen and eraser and pen and paper, and you don't need to work with your fingers, simply using your head. Okay, so the first method is to use half and double. So the half and double is an easy way to simplify a difficult task. For example, if you have 8 times 8 and you don't know it's 64, and you don't know how to go about it to calculate it, well, you can just simplify it by using half of one of the numbers. For example, half of 8 is 4, so you would take 8 times 4 instead, and perhaps that is easier, so that's 32, right? And 2 times 32, you simply add the 2 times 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? And the 3 plus 3 is 6, so 64 is the number. And that's the easy way to just double it, and you get 8 times 8 is 64. So that was simplifying the task by using half and then double. So you half one of the numbers to calculate the easy task, and then you double it, the result, and you get the 64. So that can be used in any other number where the one of the numbers are equals to 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 10. All right, so that's one way. And the other way is to round off to any number that is close to the 5th table or the 10th table. So that's the way to go about it, because most kids would already know these tables, 5 and the 10th. So let's make an example here. So we have 9 times 8 here, which is 72, but if you don't know that and you have a hard time calculating that out, it would be easy for you to round off the 9, which is the closest to the 10. So you make it 10 times 8, and you will know that it's 80, right? So when you get 10 times 8 is 80, well, then you can jump back 10 numbers, right? So from the 80 you go down to 70, and you add the friend numbers, the 8s that you have here, which you didn't round off. You have to use the friendly number here, which is 2. So you add that to the 70 and you get the 72. So let's repeat that. 9 times 8 is hard to calculate. Well, then you round off the 9 to a 10. That's 80. Then you jump down 10 steps, which makes it 70, and you add the friendly number for the 8, which is 2, so you get 72. And this is something you can train and learn in your head to make it simpler. Let's make another example. We have 9 times 6. 9 times 6 is 54. Now this is a number where you can round off both upwards or downwards, but we're going to train first upwards. So let's do that. Let's round it off to a 10. The 9 is a 10 now, and the 10 times 6 is 60, which is easy. And then you jump 10 steps downwards and you get 50, and then you add the friendly number for the 6, which you can see here is 4. So you get 54, right? So it's easy to do that, to jump 10 steps down to get and add the friendly number to get the right results. And it's quite easy. As long as you know the friendly numbers, it's going to be easy. Of course, we could go about it the other way around as well. We could have rounded down the 6 to a 5, and that would have been alright as well. So 9 times 5, if you know the 5th multiplication table, you would know that that's 45, right? But since you did 45 and you round it down, you need to add the 9 that you didn't change, because it was the number 6 that we rounded off to a 5, so we need to add the 9 again to the number. So you have to add 9 to the 45. So when you do that, you add first the 5 inside of the 9, and you get 50, and then you add the rest of the 9 is 4, which you add, and you get 54. So you always calculate to the closest tenth first, and then you add the remainings, which is 4. So repeat that, and you get 5 times 9 when you round it down, and that's 45. And you add the 5 in the 9, and you get 50, and then you add the 4 as well, which is the leftovers, and you get 54. So that's how you can work that out. Let's make another example. You have 7 times 6 here. You can round that off again. The 6 is the one closest to the 5th table, for 7 is far away from both the 10 and the 5. So we're going to round off the 6th one here. 7 times 5 is easier to calculate. And when you do that, so you have to note that it's 35, and when you have the 35, you also need to add another 7 to it, and again you add the 5 first, which from the 7, and you get 40, and then you have 2 leftovers here, so you add that to the end, and that's 42. Let's have a look at this 8 times 8, and that's 2 steps away from the 10th, but we're going to use that anyway. So what you can do is that if you want to round off 8 to a 10, then you need to know that you can do that, and it would be 10 times 8, it would be 80. But since you rounded off 2 steps, you need to remove not only 10 but 20. You need to remove 2 tenths from the 80, and you will get 60, right? And 60, when you have 60, you need to add the friendly numbers to the 8, right? And the friendly number to the 8 is 2. So you would have to add twice the 2's, because you rounded off 2 steps. So you get 64, because 2 plus 2 is 4, so 64. All right, let's repeat that. 8 times 8 is rounded off to 10, but it's 2 steps, so you need to know that it's 80. And when it's 80, you have to remove 2 tenths, because you are rounded off 2 steps. So that's 80 minus 20 is 60, and that's simple enough to calculate. And then you have 2 friendly numbers that you need, and the friendly numbers to the 8 is number 2, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and you have 64. It's not as complicated. When you know the model in your head, it's easy to calculate in your head, and that's what I want you to be able to do. Calculate all the numbers in your head, either by using half and double, or you're going to use this method where you round off to the 5th table or to the 10th table. And you can, when you round it up to the 10th table, you jump down 10 steps if you rounded off 1 step. But if you rounded off 2 steps, you need to jump down 20 steps, right? So that's easy enough. And then in the end, you also need to add the friendly number, depending on what number it is, of course. All right, so that is how I wanted to help you, simplifying the task by minimizing the amount of equations from 121 to 21. And also I wanted you to know the method of half and double, so you can simplify it by making the numbers smaller, which is easier for you. Probably you already know the smaller numbers, and you just double it. And the last method is to round off to the 10th table and to the 5th table, which you already know. And then using the method by using the friendly numbers, when you round off to the 10th, and when you round off to the 5, just simply add the number that you were missing or adding, so that you can get the right number. All right, I hope this video helps you out, that I hope it works out for you, that you find these methods easy to use, and that you will learn all of the multiplication table by head. I wish you the best of luck, and take care. Bye-bye.